Hey folks, that beautiful yellow plant right here, that is not responsible for your allergies. This is one of the most misunderstood plants and one of the most medically beneficial plants out there for foragers to be aware of. In fact, if you are a prepper, a homesteader, or a forager, this is one that you absolutely need to know on your list. Stay with me now. All right, folks, welcome back to Prepping with Sarge, where we talk about all things survival, preparedness, homesteading, bushcraft, and yes, today we're going to be talking a little bit about foraging for a very wonderful medicinal plant that I'm about to tell you about. Now, if you saw that yellow flower over there and you thought that's ragweed, you were wrong. This behind me is ragweed, and I'm going to give you a good look at it here in just a second. That one over there, they tend to grow very close together, which is part of the problem and why people tend to confuse them. That's goldenrod. All right, let's take a look at this one here. All right, folks, this here is ragweed, or one of the types of ragweed, and this is what's causing you to have allergy problems in the fall. Now, it tends to grow very close to goldenrod. In fact, there's some growing back here. If you can see it, I'll try to blow it up. Got some goldenrod growing back there. I think that's part of the reason why people can confuse them. But ragweed is generally not your friend, but goldenrod is your friend. And goldenrod is a really pretty plant. Let me get out of the shadow there. It's a really pretty plant. So the yellow flowers do tend to stand out. It's one of the ways that you can spot it from a mile away. And I think also because it's so highly visible, that's another reason why people tend to blame that for their allergies. But this little plant here actually doesn't throw off a ton of pollen. Now, that's not to say that everybody out there is not allergic to goldenrod. It's just not common, okay? So it gets blamed for a lot of things because it's blooming at the same time as ragweed, but it's usually not the one that's giving you trouble. So what can we do with this plant? And first of all, I want to say I apologize for the sound issues. I'm very close to a highway, so I had to put on my mic and kind of go as loud as I could. And number two, I don't have my tripod with me. I just happened to be on a work lunch and I spotted this and I thought, let's do some filming. All right, so goldenrod, what can we do with this? Well, number one, the flowers at the top are a very attractive garnish on top of salads, so you can eat the flowers raw like that. That's not normally how it's used by the foraging community. And let's take a look at this stalk here and the leaves. I want you to be able to identify this one. Let's take a look at this stalk here and the leaves. I want you to be able to identify this one when you see it, okay? But really, it's gonna be the golden flowers that are gonna catch your eye, most likely. So what can this plant do? That's what you've been waiting for. So number one, you can dry the flowers and the leaves and then crush them up and powder them and save them. And actually Civil War soldiers, some of the Civil War soldiers in the South would do this. They'd keep a little vial of this dried and powdered with them in their packs to slow and stop bleeding from gunshots and other types of wounds. So that's number one. And that's probably because it has some astringent qualities to it, okay? So it does have a little bit of astringent bitterness to it. It's not the most pleasant tasting one for me, but some people get used to it and they do like it. What else can you do with this one? Well, it does have a little bit of anti-inflammation qualities to it. So you could actually make a tea with the leaves and the flowers and strain out the leaves and flowers after you've boiled it and then drink the tea, and that will actually help a little bit with inflammation. But remember, my videos are not for medical advice, they're for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own due diligent research, and if you've never used a wild edible internally before or topically, really, you want to start very slow and just see how your body reacts to just a tiny amount before you go full force into it. All right, so what else can we do with this one? If you have a sore throat, you can make a tea and do like a mouth gargle rinse with it, right? So you're gonna boil it, make a nice tea with it, let that cool down enough, and then you're gonna go gargle with it, and it tends to reduce throat inflammation as well. All right, so we have pain inflammation, we have sore throat inflammation, and we can stop the bleeding with this one. And on top of that, you can eat the flowers on top of a salad. And on top of that, this is very nice for pollinators. Bees love this. And we want to encourage the bee population, as everybody knows out there. So the next time you see somebody, you're driving along and somebody says, oh, I hate those yellow flowers make me sick every fall, I always get really bad allergies, tell them it might not be what they think it is. ask them if they think that's ragweed, right? And if it is, if they do, tell them, let's stop, let's take a look at it. And if it looks like this, folks, that's not ragweed, that's goldenrod, and that's your friend. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, if you've got any knowledge out of this, if you got any benefit out of this, please consider giving me a like. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I drop all kinds of content related to preparedness, homesteading, survival, bushcraft, you name it. And especially for foraging and food self-sufficiency. I'd love to have you join the channel. In fact, drop a comment down below if you're new to the channel. Let me know who you are. I love to know who my audience is that's watching my videos. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.